Well, the topic I chose was quarantine traveling. Maybe you could all mute. So once we get started here, um, quarantine poems from the pandemic, really, because really it's really true. This is a one-time thing. You know, my mom, who's 102, she was born in 1918 in the Spanish influenza. She was born the year of the last pandemic, when it was raging across the globe. And here we are, and here she is. Quarantined pretty much in this pandemic 102 years later, and she in between was so much, but these two pandemics at the bookends of her life is really something. And it's right, it's not probably not a thing we're going to go through. Well, let's hope we don't go through it again, but it certainly has been altering, emotion altering, life altering, physically altering. It's just been a huge thing, and to not write about it with people who love words and love writing and love poetry would be crazy. So I just wanted us to write about something about our experiences, or even bring a poem about the quarantine, the pandemic, or you could just read whatever poem you like, as always. But I thought that I would read the one I wrote about a month or two ago, when we kind of first, 2 or 3 months ago, when we first went into quarantine or lockdown, sort of. I wrote a poem called Quarantine Traveling. And it's called Quarantine Traveling. The cupboard that would wait yet again to be cleaned revealed its treasure: worn spiral notebooks, pencils tied to the spines, travel-sized, labeled with much more than words. She touched Ice House Canyon, summer 1978, and her boots trod the Stony Creek Trail, threading shadows, her eyes seeking sparse heated slopes above the LA basin, above the press of people and lonely living. Her hands moved among the journals. The Scottish Highlands rose up, Irish moors. A rented Fiat scraped misty hedgerows, winding among giants. Inside, music, friends, laughter, soothing the wounds of years. Riding ephemeral currents, she soared. Alaska, the first husband. Greece, the second. Images of red, Arctic tundra cranberries, poppy fields fringing the cliffs of Thera. Blood drawn by mosquitoes and words. Backpacking titles sang trailhead names: Hermit's Creek, Muir, Indian Hollow, Wind River, on, 50 years worth of uphill curses and summit celebrations. The pages still smelled of wood smoke and tent. She made coffee, chose Ice House Canyon. Sitting outside under the grapefruit tree, breathing the white blossom scent, she opened to the first of many empty pages remaining and began writing. So I was doing my traveling from my seat. Anyway, let's see. Let me go to, we have, I'll just go over here and ask Fritz, I see you next. You want to read? And unmute. Oh, you're still muted. Still muted. Oh.
I should know better, shouldn't I?
It's reassuring to me.
I took your word altered. So this is a bit of a downer. And it's the events approaching July 2020. Altered. Like a spayed cat, bombarded 24/7. This chaos scat. Like castrated. Where were our priests, our wise, our chiefs? Agendized, monetized, besotted, fornicating in deep shadows, corrupted thirst, intoxicated. Walls round you torn away, away, exposing your wrongs. Injustices created by you. Don't roll your eyes, don't look inside. You are the sinner. Sin. You, the judge, the jury, the hangman. You will be outed. Out. You with warped fingers pointing at you. Down with your laws, down with your history, down with your ways, down with society. Down. Statues, words, deeds, thoughts. Down. Torn down, subverted. Yes, thoughts. They will cancel you. Not you, you say. Not my doing, you say. Not on my watch, you say. Not whatever you say. Look around. chaos abounds. Soon at your front door, then at your back door, inside your space, your mind, mind. Never mind, no longer yours. No longer. The foundation laid. On this rock we build. Can we do better? You bet we can. Correct the wrongs? Of course. Why not? The speck in your brother's eye, remove that splinter in yours. Winnow the wheat from the chaff. Place your faith in the just one. Yes, you, I dare. Will you stand up to speak your peace? Convictions, conversations. Don't pick a side. Listen, learn, understand. Will you stand up? It's late. We're on the cusp. All will be lost to chaos.
I love the repetition. It makes everything such a visceral outcry. I love the repetition in that.
We need to learn.
Yeah, and it's just a reminder too. It's like it's very visceral.
Was it like an echo?
What's that?
Was it like an echo?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. I can't get my echo chamber to work. Michael Sultan has his hand up.
Yeah. Yes. In fact, your next is Michael. Do you want to go next?
Yes, thank you very much. The gist of this is how it feels here and now, and what we're all doing in this lockdown, and what you're feeling. In, I don't know whether it'll resonate for you. The title is COVID Reflections. A kind of self-imposed prison. Time standing still. Each day, like the one before. And the one ahead of you will be. Energy consumed, resisting the urge to violate all the new rules. Too much time spent on reflecting upon the past, what was, what could have been. Addiction to television and the refrigerator. Substitute gratification. Still, off in the distance, you can see a notion of that better day ahead when we gather once again in embraces of camaraderie and the joy of being alive. Hope. Hope is eternal. All the other scenarios are too dreadful to even contemplate.
The spectrum really goes 180 for this experience. Let's see, Zona, do you have a poem?
Sure. I just wanted to say to Mike, one of the reasons I came today was because I wanted to hear that again. Okay. Mine is waiting my whole life, waiting for rain to start, waiting for rain to stop, waiting to grow up, magical age of 18, know the answers. When I grow up, make my own decisions, stay up late, eat all the ice cream, eat when I want, not when someone else thinks I should be hungry, not listen to someone yell at me, close the refrigerator door. Move into my own little cabin in the redwoods, open the refrigerator, stare at butter on otherwise empty shelves, stare for 15 minutes. Grow up, wait for time to do, to be. Wait to move, to not be drowning in heat, to breathe. Wait for Bob to want to eat with me, go to the movies with me, go on vacation with me, spend time with me. Now I create distance, eat alone, watch movies alone, vacation alone. Wait for COVID to be over. wait to die, waiting, waiting, waiting. What if, just what if, I decide to just be and wait no more?
Great.
Yeah. Wonderful. Ingrid, do you have any, where is Ingrid still here? Yeah. Do you have any, Ingrid, a poem to read?
No, sorry, no.
Okay. How about Alice? Be sure to unmute.
There we go. All right. This one is called, oh, oops. It says, Alice, put on your glasses. All right. This was called Ode to the Others in the Time of Plague 2020. Here's to Jesus who sliced his thumb, trying to keep up with the factory poultry line so we could have chicken breast for dinner on COVID-19 shutdown. Here's to Maria who threw him a towel to staunch the bleeding until the end of the shift. Here's to Fauci, the doctor, scientist, who led us out of the cave of ignorance and doubt with his torch of flaming truth. Here's to creative people sewing thousands of masks at home on their portable machines to fill the needs of the community. Masks to be sold from the back of pickup trucks at some local parking lot or gas station. Here's to the brave governors who stepped forward to do battle with fiery, mendacious pseudo-leaders threatening to destroy their bereft peoples in the hot spots within virus cities. Here's to grocery clerks, nurses, truck drivers, delivery kids, babysitters, doctors, garbage men, postal carriers, and newspapers who face the dire truth until the very end.
And so many others too.
Yeah, their page is not long enough.
Page is not long enough. And here's to us, by the way.
Yeah.
I say here's
Yes.
to us too. Let's see, Caroline. Caroline, do you have a poem? And unmute, be sure and
Yes,
unmute.
I do. Yes. Let me bring it up. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Can you still see me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
I can see you.
Okay. The name of my poem is COVID-19, the Predator.
Huh?
You slunk in, you never slunk out. You left the bits and bytes of your reality on the lives of all of us. When will we fearlessly walk the streets again? When will we spontaneously hug a long-lost friend? When will we buy an airline ticket without a slight cringe? All lives have edges, but the edges before you came were hovering shadows. Your edges fringe on a steep decline. It is in the air we breathe, the skin we touch, the mix of bodies moving about. You stole the toddlers' chances to play together, the seniors' graduation celebrations, the engagement parties and wedding parties, the performers that will have no curtain calls, first lovers' kisses in the dark. Unfathomable scars have you left on the minds of us all, but the babies and youth most of all. Where are the cuddles that babies need? Where are the playing fields where teens learn their passion for sports are curbed? The rows of theater seats are vacant. Will life start piecing itself together in 2021 and 2022? We are destined to wait and see. We are destined to live in uncertainty. We will survive. The price will be high. The only broker in this deal will be fate.
Wow. Amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
Well, it has really been life altering for us. It's not helpful to hear other people come from kind of the depths that I've been living and coming from too. So it's really great to hear these. Let's see. How about, let's see what, oh, Chuck, you're next. Do you have a poem you'd like to share? And be sure and unmute yourself.
Yes, I have. I just added a word to the title, but that's what I do.
Okay, and can you get a little closer to the microphone at all?
Not much closer than this.
Okay, that's fine. We can hear you.
All right. It's called The Pandemic Critic. I pan the pandemic and at the same time applaud it. How could I do that? I pan it because I am not as busy as I once was. I do not have my poetry class. I do not have karate. I do not have my church. Therefore, I pan the pandemic. Perhaps if I trivialize its title, it will go away. Oh, how I hesitate to contradict myself in print. But hear me, I have come to know my neighbors. Their cats have come to know our cats. They and their cats are welcome. A feeling has arisen in me that people will overcome illnesses, difficulties, and even pandemics, if given time and opportunity to know their neighbors and their cats. Therefore, I pan and applaud the pandemic.
That's true. I know I've actually gotten to know my neighbors so much better because we check on each other now. And yeah, so yeah. Jan, do you have a poem? And be sure and unmute.
Okay, this is kind of, Fritz had an assignment in his writing class about this day forward. So I kind of combined that and this. My suitcase has in it many items I did not pack. Everywhere I go, these items go with me. They are the base in my suitcase. Like an ideological box I somehow evolved in. Places I go to are influenced by my base and what I pack next. This pandemic has slowed down life enough so I can repack. Each item I remove from my suitcase is looked at through a different lens now, prompting me to wonder, should I repack this item? Do I need this going forward? So much has changed for us all. Everyone's change is felt by what was in their suitcase when they arrived at the stop in time. So going forward will be different for each of us deciding what are our essential needs. Some will be happy to continue with medical televisits, Zoom classes, grocery and Amazon deliveries, phoning, texting, messaging. Others will be missing one-on-ones, hugging, handshakes, driving to destinations, experiencing sights in person. What in your suitcase influences your choices? What will life be like this day forward?
Wow. Lovely metaphor. Thank you.
May I make a comment?
Yeah.
Okay. Jan, there are aspects of this Zoom. I am in discussion classes now that I would not go to and take the time to drive there and park. I just hope we have some kind of hybrid situation.
Yeah.
You're well taken.
It has opened up the world in a way. I have a friend who goes to meetings and she goes, I got to go. I'm going to Australia right now. And then she'll say, okay, I go, are you going to Austin tonight? She'll go, yeah, I'm going to Austin tonight. And I have a friend in Scotland and I go into her meetings sometimes. And that is one thing that has just opened up the world. And poetry class, thank God we didn't have to, we have Zoom, you know, it's wonderful. Let's see, Edith, do you have a poem? Oh, be sure and unmute yourself.
Jan's poetry is getting better and better and better, I think.
Yeah. That's right. Oh, Edith, you're still muted. So be sure and unmute. Edith, can you hear me? Be sure and unmute. Are you on? There you go. There you go.
Okay, thank you for
Yes,
letting
ma'am.
me know. I took the topic seriously. How do you cope with the new virus? And I call this one, which is not as serious as the previous poems, which were lovely, but this one is kind of light. I called it One Family Copes with Coronavirus 19. Our lesson plans request that we stay home, and we do. Step one in opposition to a virus worse than flu. We catch up on our reading or writing if we choose, and PBS on TV helps despite the nightly news. On weekends, we are treated with scrumptious, fresh cooked dinners, organic and nutritious, all tasty homemade winners. And then we do have meetings with loved ones, all on Zoom. Computer cameras bring us close. They're with us in the room. And to fill the time, I just might, for better or for worse, sit down with pen and paper and write a simple verse.
I love the rhyme. That's good.
Not much.
That's great. Let's see. Joyce, do you have a poem? And be sure and unmute. And Edith, you can mute again.
It's called Evil Enemy. I shout to everybody out there. There is an evil enemy that wants to take us all down. It sneaks up on us when we are not looking. An older person runs in terror from a plague that chases after them like a raging rabid dog. Will the dog swallow us up? We cannot run from it or hide from it. It is everywhere and will find us regardless. We cannot fight with guns or other weapons of past wars. The frontline heroes, doctors, nurses, firemen, scientists, and others, are there sent by God to defeat this enemy and take it down. The need they have for masks, gloves, medicines, and a few minutes of rest can be overwhelming. Some are living away from home, not wanting to take the enemy home to their families if they have it. God bless them all for their courage. Like the wars before us in foreign lands, and also the many fought in this country, we will not be imprisoned by this enemy and will not let it conquer us. The quiet storefronts, schools, malls, beaches will one day open again. The flag of America will fly victoriously because God sent Satan back to hell where he belongs. Our God is stronger than the evil that Satan tried to bestow on us. We will smile again and embrace each other once more, free from the invisible enemy that is no longer on our soul or in our lives.
Powerful. It does seem like a bigger than life. It is a bigger than life thing. Juanita, do you have a poem? And unmute. Thanks, Joyce.
I do. I echo Joyce's sentiments. This is a poem I call Normal. This is kind of rough. There's too much going on in my house lately this week, but this is my first draft, kind of. I want my normal back. I want to meet friends for lunch at Nordstrom and do some shopping. I want to go into Ruby's or Chili's to eat lunch or dinner. I want to have my nails done by Tina, who's done them for over 15 years, but is now too scared to come back to work. I want my OLLI on-site classes. I want to Vulture Park in Lot J and walk into room 9 for book club. It would be lovely to sit in room 21, to be enveloped by my fellow poets, to hear the latest gossip as well as new poetry. I don't want to wear a mask. It makes my nose run and my dermatitis to act up. Plus, no one at Ralph's can see me smile at them. All I see are squinty eyes looking at them. I tried that in the mirror.
I know.
What I do want is for politicians to stop arguing about what to do. It would be nice if they developed some backbone and stood up for the people and the country and not their reelection. But most of all, I want people to stop getting sick and dying. It feels like the end of times, and it's scary. It would be nice, of course, if I wouldn't get sick either, because I'm one of the people. I live just a block south of Ball Road, which is a major road in Anaheim. And I should stop once and count the number of times I hear sirens going by, ambulances, paramedics, fire trucks. It's just overwhelming. And Anaheim has a huge population of victims.
Juanita, could you read the last line again? I missed it.
It would be nice, of course, if I wouldn't get sick either, because I am one of the people.
One of the people. Yeah, that's really good.
Thank you.
You know, I did the very same thing. I found myself, you know, you pass someone in the store and you smile because they look right at you and you smile, this hello stranger smile, and no one can, it just occurred to me, no one can see me smiling. So I did the same thing. I went home and I put my mask on and looked in the mirror, and all you see is a couple of squinty eyes, which can look, you know, evil as much as friendly.
You know, Marilyn, what they have suggested for teachers or whatever that work around small children are those clear masks, because they are worried about these little toddlers who just see a masked human being. Anyway, that was interesting.
Yeah, and then there's this, I don't know where you get these, but there's masks of your face, the bottom half of your face. You take a picture of it. So my friend was visiting me the other day, and she's a dog person, and she has a dog face mask. So she puts on her mask, and the bottom is a dog face.
Oh, I should do that with a golden retriever. Oh, that's a good one. Well, that was good. Linda, do you have a poem you'd like to share? Where is Linda? I don't see her. Whoops. Oh, funny. That's good. Oh, there's Linda. Hi. Go ahead.
I have to tell Marcia that after she let us on that Shel Silverstein, I went out and I bought this book, Lactatio, that she recommended, and I'm enjoying it very much. Good. I actually bought it for a gift because I didn't research what age level it would be for, so I bought it for a very young child, so I'm going to have to keep it for a while. Okay. I have 3 and I can't decide which to read. I think I'll read
We
the
have
one.
time. Read a couple right now.
Well, this is my COVID poem, and it's called If Only I Could. If only I could, I would comb the world for the best coronavirus test and order one for every United States of America resident. I would give 1 week's notice, then pause the country for 3 days of testing. I would have health workers go everywhere that mail carriers go, to every house or jail or apartment, or detention center or mobile home, or military base or tent where mail is delivered. I would give masks to every person. Mail carriers would deliver a monthly check based on need to each household for 1 year. Would this be easy? No. But 140,000 lives lost are 140,000 lives too many. 140,000 grieving families are 140 grieving families too many. Every life is precious. Every life is valuable. Every life should be treated as so.
Thanks. That's lovely. Mary, do you have a poem you want to share? And unmute.
Yeah. I had already sent one to Marilyn early on, and I wrote another one, and now I've also got another one that's sort of at a halfway stage, but I'll read the one that is the most complete here. It's called The Evolution of Shelter in Place. Shelter in place. Don't leave the house except for toilet paper. Read those books you should have read years ago. Reread the ones you did read years ago. Keep busy productively. Clean out the cupboards and drawers. Clean out closets in the garage. Wash hands. Wash hands. Do it again. Wipe down everything with disinfectant. Go for a walk. Wear a mask. Maintain social distancing. Stay 6 feet apart. Wash hands yet again. Go to the grocery only if absolutely necessary. Wear vinyl gloves and a mask. Hope everyone else in the store is wearing the same. Dodge around the masked and unmasked alike. Hurry to get in, get stuff, get out. Get into the car. Gasp, gasp, rip the mask off. How do nurses keep those masks on for 12 hours straight? Wash hands, wash hands, wash hands. Protesters surface against shelter in place. Liberty, freedom, open everything up. No more masks, no more shelter in place. You can't keep us off the beach or out of the bars. We want to have some fun. Why don't old people just do the right thing and die? Let the young have a life free of restraint. We're young. We gotta be free. Stop. Just stop. Free? Free to do what? Free to transmit the pestilence to your mom, your granddad? Free to put your brother on a ventilator? Free to infect me with your carelessness? Your willful ignorance could affect those you don't even know. But I suppose you don't care about anyone, relative or not. You are fools. Your so-called freedom could come back to bite you. I hope you enjoy being intubated. I'm going to go wash my hands again.
Yeah, that's about it too. Oh my God. So true.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Marcia, do you have a poem you'd like to read? And be sure and unmute.
Okay, this has been around the last couple of weeks, and it was posted by a man that we really enjoy watching on the Discovery Channel. His name is Mike Rowe, and he has a show called Dirty Jobs or Somebody's Got to Do It. And beyond that, he has a site that focuses on the decline of blue-collar workers and blue-collar trades. And he has a resource called Trades Hub for young men and women to reach out if they want to learn a trade, can't go to college because trades are still very important. And I know a lot of you have heard this, but I just think it's wonderful. It's about the confusion that's been going on since March. And you can bash this person or that person, but the bashers don't have an answer. And I just think this is just a kick. So I think we need a little light stuff here. You must not leave the house for any reason unless you have a reason, and then you may leave the house. All stores are closed except the ones that are open, and all stores must close unless they are told that they can stay open. This virus is deadly, but don't be afraid of it. It only kills people who are vulnerable or who are not vulnerable. We need to stay in lockdown until it stops infecting people, but it will only stop infecting people if enough people get infected so that we can build immunity. So it's very important that we get infected. We must not go to the doctor's office or hospital unless you have to go there or are too sick to go there. This virus does not affect children except for the children, and that's all that matters. The virus is active on surfaces for 2 or 4 or 6 hours, but in most cases, it needs a damp environment or a cold environment, or it will die in a hot environment. Schools are closed, but you can homeschool your children unless you can send them to school because you're not home, or you can send them to school by using portals in your home or online classes unless you have poor internet or more than one child with one computer while working at home. Baking cakes can teach math, art, and science. Include household chores within the curriculum. And if you are home, you may start drinking at 10 a.m. every morning. If you are not home educating your children, you can start drinking at 10 a.m. anyhow. Masks are useless against the virus, but you still need to wear one because it can save lives. And in some cases, it may be mandatory or not. You must not go to work, but if you can get another job that will accept you, you can go to work. Stay home. There are many celebrities that are telling you to go outside and take care of your mental health. There are not shortages of groceries in the supermarket. You don't need to stock up on toilet paper, but you should in case you need it. If you are sick and you cannot go to the go out, you are better. I'm sorry. If you are sick, you cannot go out unless you are better. But those in your household cannot go out when you are better until they're better. Animals are not affected by the virus except for the cat that tested positive in February in Belgium, plus a few tigers. The number of deaths will be announced daily, but we do not know how many are infected because we're only testing those who are almost dead to determine if that is why they're dying. People who died from corona who were not counted won't or will be counted, but maybe not. Eat well, exercise, but only eat what you have to at home to avoid going to the stores unless you need toilet paper. Get fresh air, but don't go to parks. Well, wait, you can go to parks. You can walk, but don't sit down unless you're old and pregnant. But if you do sit down, don't sit down for too long, and for sure don't eat. If you go to the beach, you may go in the water, but you must not get your towel, which is on the sand, because you may stop for any reason because you have to keep walking. No business will go down due to coronavirus except those who will go down. So please take care, stay well, take care of you and yours.
Oh my God. Excuse me while I tear out my hair.
I just think it's amazing because since March, every day there's something new because this is new.
Right.
And all the bashing, I love the people that are doing all the bashing. I would love to hear what they would have done and what they should be doing now. So the main thing is that we take care of our families and think about other people. And I maybe this will help people to be more understanding, but it is confusing.
Did you write that?
I did not. Mike Rowe posted it on his site. It's called Clarity.
Wow.
And if you can see it, I mean, the young woman, I'm not sure whether it's a family member, the one young woman that's reading it is just, it's just amazing because we are in a state of confusion, you know? So that's all I have to say.
That's really good. Let's see, Veronica, do you have a poem you'd like to share? And then be sure and unmute.
Yes, I do have a poem I'd like to share.
All right.
I did not write this. June Cullen wrote this, and she's a member of another poetry group I belong to in Claremont that we meet on Fridays. But it's about the pandemic. It's called Summer Morning. 5 days a week in my neighborhood at 6 a.m., I wave to the mask-covered face under his straw hat, to the white-haired woman strolling with her cane, to the kneeling lady across the way nurturing her roses. Week after week, our hands are in the air in benediction, strangers attending each other's presence beneath this cool dome in a cathedral of gratitude. Good morning, a hymn. We are still here.
Wow, that is so elegant. That's so pretty.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, it's really
It's wonderful writing.
Very elegant. It's full of grace, that poem.
Yes.
Marilyn, this is Ruth. I would like to read mine.
Yeah, go ahead. You're right here. I've got my list and you're next on it. So go ahead.
Good. That worked out.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put on my glasses.
Okay.
And it's called Coronavirus.
Got it.
I wake up to another day of solitude. The governor has decreed that I remain at home for my safety and to protect our community. My son will go out and stand in line, hoping to find toilet paper and other necessities. I miss my activities where I meet my friends, my church on Sundays, my poetry class, my secular Jewish group, and my cousin's club, which works for peace in Israel, Palestine. What solace do I find? I can enjoy these events online. Also doing daily crosswords with my son at home and my daughter on the phone. I hope that this nightmare will end someday soon, but meanwhile, I will do my best while confined to my home to help those in need and to work for peace and justice in America and the world.
Just lovely. Edith, were you going to say something?
No, I just said bravo.
You know what? I'm not having any trouble finding toilet paper. It's paper towels now that are scarce.
Sorry, my home phone's ringing. So, okay, let's see. I've got Virginia. I've got Virginia, Michael Ames, and Raylene next on the list. And then Linda, if you wanted to read another poem. So we have plenty of time. So let's see. Virginia, do you want to go ahead? And be sure and unmute. Yep, still muted. Oh, he's still muted. Still muted. Can you press the mute? There you go. Yes.
I don't know what's happening.
There you
Okay, at my house, I have an atrium in the center of the house, and I really enjoy it. But both the atrium and myself were looking pretty droopy, so I wrote a poem about this. It's called, "Oh, Little Atrium Garden, you can be so Eden-like, cheer and inspire me, keep me company and close to Mother Nature. But now I see the coronavirus has disrupted your life too. Please don't be discouraged. As soon as it is safe, the gardener will give you a makeover. Your weeds will be pulled, shrubs trimmed, disheveled sprouts removed. I will turn on all your lights, invite the neighbors in, serve assorted sandwiches, salads, and wine. And as they soak up your beauty, once again, you will feel proud."
Here's hoping we're all like that atrium eventually, just coming back to life. That's a lovely image too. Let's see, Michael, let's see, Michael Ames, yeah. Are you there? There you are. Be sure and unmute. Oh, yeah.
Hi. I didn't write anything original because when I was pondering the topic, I came across a dispatch from the pandemic in the LA Times, and it was written by Fran Shailene, and she's been a hospice chaplain for more than 10 years. And before that, she was involved in the AIDS epidemic, seeing daily death in San Francisco. So basically, she's been in hospice for 40 years. So she's been through this more than once, I think. So it's a long piece that she wrote, but I have a link to it. And if anybody wants the link to the piece, they can let me know afterwards. And I do recommend it because it's a very complex poem, and I'm only picking out one aspect of it for the excerpt. So here we go then. When nothing more can be done. He came to the Orange County Hospital because he had trouble breathing. A week later, the sign, "Caution, droplets," hung on his ICU room door. Droplets code for COVID-19. He hasn't been conscious for 36 hours. Only the ventilator keeps him alive. Together, the doctor, hospice, social worker, and I tell the family nothing more can be done. They nod, they have no fight left. The doctor hates that he cannot save this man, but he can't allow them to say goodbye. He tells them they can go in, groups of 2, for 10 minutes. He leaves us. He has to help someone else. He cares for 2 floors of people with COVID-19, 51 people in all. We tell them this is special. The doctor hasn't allowed this before. They mumble thanks. Translation, isn't that generous of you? I stand outside the window into his room. When the 10 minutes are up, I wave. His family members' eyes plead. 2 fingers in the air. 2 minutes? They smile and laugh in his room in case he can sense them, but they sob once they slide shut his door. The final 2 are his wife and firstborn. She collapses when she reaches his bed. Their son barely catches her. She kisses her husband, whispers in his ear, I hope he senses her near him. They don't look at me when they walk away. While hospital staffers extract the breathing tube, the social worker and I wait outside his room because microscopic COVID-19 droplets will release into the air. Staffers adjust his medications. He won't feel the removal of the tube. His family had asked if they could FaceTime after the tube was removed. We all watch the monitor. The lines become flatter. We hear his last breath, then nothing. The nurse nods to us. The social worker tells the family that he's gone to be with God. I don't have her faith. I don't know where he's going except to the morgue. Does anyone else feel like they've just witnessed an execution? Outside the hospital, there is a billboard. Heroes work here. I want to scream. Hero is just another word for better you than me. I'm worried about myself and feeling guilty even when thinking about myself. I'm worried I'll forget that balance is important. Tomorrow, there will still be the next one and the next one. So tell me, why aren't you wearing a mask?
Wow.
I just thought it was very powerful.
Very powerful.
Poetic to say.
Yeah.
So I invite you to read the whole thing. It's just amazing.
And Michael, do you know how to do the chat? Do you know how to send a chat, the link to everyone in the poetry class?
I don't think I'm capable of doing that, but
all right.
So
well, if anyone wants to stay on after the meeting, after the class, then they can talk to you then and get the link.
Email it to Juanita and ask her to just forward the link.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, just let Juanita handle it, man. No, that's a good idea, really. Raylene, do you have a poem you'd like to share?
Yes, I'm really impressed with everyone's very profound thoughts. What I wrote was something that I thought about from teaching when we teach fairy tales and children's songs. So I'm going to sing, and I don't have the greatest singing voice, but you're welcome to join in. It's just called COVID. Mary had to wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask. Mary had to wear a mask to keep from spreading COVID. Mary washed her hands 20 seconds, hands 20 seconds, hands 20 seconds. Mary washed her hands 20 seconds to be safe from COVID. Mary didn't touch her face, touch her face, touch her face. Mary didn't touch her face to keep from getting COVID. Mary stayed 6 feet away, 6 feet away, 6 feet away. Mary stayed 6 feet away to reduce the spread of COVID. Mary stayed home all day, home all day, home all day. Mary stayed home all day to keep from catching COVID. Mary missed her family, family, family. Mary missed her family so she would not spread COVID. Mary had food delivered food delivered, food delivered. Mary had food delivered to reduce her contact for COVID. Mary wrote a children's book, children's book, children's book. Mary wrote a children's book to fill her time during COVID. Mary did 1,000-piece puzzles, 1,000-piece puzzles, 1,000-piece puzzles. Mary did 1,000-piece puzzles to pass the time during COVID. Mary felt so lonely, lonely, lonely. Mary felt so lonely, keeping COVID at bay. Mary became so depressed, so depressed, so depressed. Mary became so depressed, hearing about the deaths from COVID. Mary joined a Zoom class, Zoom class, Zoom class. Mary joined a Zoom class to be distracted from COVID. Mary hopes everyone stays well, everyone stays well, everyone stays well. Mary hopes everyone stays well and don't catch COVID. And you're going to go on and on and on.
Hey, that's fabulous. Exactly what we needed to sing. Oh, that is so good. Oh, that's wonderful. Ruth, I was going to ask you, what is his name? Your companion is Ado? Ado?
Are you asking me?
No, I was asking Ruth because he hadn't. I wondered if he had a poem to read, Ruth.
He did not.
Okay, that's okay. But please include him all the time because he sits right there. And then,
I tried to get him to do that, but he was very busy. So
okay, oh, that's fine. And then Linda, did you say you had another poem? You can be sure and unmute. Still muted. Oh, there you go.
This poem is about something else that has come to the forefront during this time of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And I call it Now. We taught together, the three of us, for 16 years, but I didn't know. We worked late in our classrooms, the three of us, but I didn't know. We went to lunch together, the three of us, sat and talked for hours, but I didn't know. I visited her when the cancer took her daughter, brought roses from my garden, a meal for my friend and her husband, oranges from my tree. I placed him by the door, stepped away, adjusted my mask. When her mask slipped down, I saw dark circles under her dark eyes. My daughter will never walk through my door again. I prepared her for burial. We could only have 10 people at her service. Then she spoke of her fear that her husband might be pulled over by the police on his way home from church. Her fear that her grandson might be pulled over on his way home from his first job. Every time they leave, I urgently pray for their safe return, she says. Now I am trying to know.
Oh my God. That is tragic. Thank you, Linda. We need to hear more like that, really, to tell you the truth. I wanted to read you all something. It's a song that's out in England, and it's called Isolation. It's written by Roger Taylor, the drummer for Queen, you know, the big rock group Queen. The only people, Roger Taylor, the drummer, and the guitarist Brian May are still out touring with Adam Lambert. They're not touring now, of course, but they're not touring at all and at their homes. And Roger Taylor just came out with a song, and it's become really, really popular in England, sort of an anthem about the pandemic. And I like it that it just shows that a musician just never dies. They never get old. They just keep loving music. So I wanted to read it's really quick lyrics, and it's a great song if you want to hear it. You can YouTube it, Isolation by Roger Taylor. It says, so we sit here in isolation. We calm our fears. We're marking time. an endless tide of information. We find our feet, we're doing fine. Just fill your day in isolation. It's everyone in every home. It's every man of every station. We change our ways, we're doing fine. Strange times indeed, strange times indeed, strange times indeed. And every child does what they can in every house, in every land. So settle back and see it through. When all this ends, we'll think anew. Strange times indeed, strange times indeed, strange times indeed. So it's a pretty decent song if you want to listen to it. Anyway, does anyone have, we have 4 minutes. Do you want just have Juanita tell us what's next, or Edith, yes? Edith, go ahead.
Oh, this is a poem written by a poet we know. Her name is Alice Gresto. She has some objections. I'd like to read her poem. It's a lighter poem and a delicious one to end with.
Good.
Is that okay, Alice? It's called COVID-19 Sequester Day 38, and it was written back in April.
Wow.
Sunshine slips through the slants of the Venetian blinds. Rolling over, I give myself 10 more minutes of shut-eye. The mocker will not let me return to my dream. He is demanding. Wake up, no worms today. How's a fella supposed to feed a family on this bonny spring day? The shops are closed. No more treats at the burger shops. The gulls scraped up the last fries weeks ago. No more bits of donuts tossed out to us beggars from those old guys who used to meet here. What happened to the trash? There used to be stuff in the gutters, good stuff, tasty stuff, with ketchup even. Now it's the occasional moth or struggling bee. The darn lizards are grabbing the garden bugs before I can even swoop down to get them. Mr. Mocker continues with his sorrowful lament. I surrender to his opera with a handful of Cheerios tossed from the kitchen window. Now it's between him and the squirrels. I think, Alice, that's the most charming.
That is wonderful.
Great, Alice.
Wonderful. And like about the animals, by the way, the animals really did come back in a big way during this time, because they've seen bears they haven't seen in years in Yellowstone and in Spain and Yosemite, and some of the animals really have had a chance to take a breath, just like the earth in a way, before the pollution all started again. But anyway.
Raccoons.
Can Juanita tell us what's next week?
Yeah, next week, Juanita.
Yes, unmute.
Be sure and unmute. Yeah.
I keep forgetting, sorry. Next week is Alice, and she's featuring Mary Oliver.